Welcome back to Rising Legends, a place where we explore true stories of resilience, courage, and lessons that can change your life. Today, I want to share 3 personal stories that shaped my journey and taught me lessons I'll carry forever. My first story is about how seemingly unrelated events can connect in ways we never expect. I left Reed College after 6 months, but continued to attend some classes for about 18 more months before fully leaving. Why did I leave? The story begins even before I was born. My biological mother was a young, unmarried student who decided to place me for adoption. She wanted me to go to parents who were college graduates. Everything was arranged for me to be adopted at birth by a lawyer and his wife. But when I was born, they decided at the last minute that they wanted a girl instead. So, my adoptive parents, who were on a waiting list, received a late-night call asking if they wanted an unexpected baby boy. They said yes, and that's how I came into their lives. Later, my biological mother discovered that my adoptive mother had never graduated from college and my adoptive father had never completed high school, and she initially refused to sign the adoption papers. However, a few months later, once my parents promised that I would attend college, the adoption was finalized. 17 years later, I did go to college, but I naively picked a school almost as costly as Stanford. All of my working-class parents' savings were going into my tuition. After 6 months, I realized I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and college wasn't helping me figure it out. Spending my parents' lifetime savings on something that didn't feel meaningful was too much to bear. So, I decided to leave, trusting that things would somehow work out. It was a frightening decision at the time, but looking back, it was one of the best choices I ever made. Dropping out freed me from mandatory classes I didn't enjoy and allowed me to explore courses that sparked curiosity. I didn't have a dorm, so I slept on floors in friends' rooms, collected bottles for small amounts of money to buy food, and walked long distances on Sundays just to enjoy one proper meal at a local temple. I loved every bit of it. One example, Reed College offered perhaps the finest calligraphy program in the country. Posters, labels, and all sorts of campus signs were beautifully handwritten. Because I wasn't bound to regular classes, I decided to take a calligraphy course. I learned about different typefaces, spacing between letters, and the subtle art that made typography so elegant. At the time, it seemed purely artistic with no practical application. But 10 years later, when designing the first Macintosh, this knowledge became invaluable. We incorporated beautiful, proportionally spaced fonts into the Mac, something computers had never seen before. If I had not taken that single calligraphy class, personal computers might have lacked the sophisticated typography we take for granted today. It was impossible to connect the dots looking forward while in college, but 10 years later, everything fell into place. You can only link the events of your life when looking backward. So, trust that the dots will connect in your future. Trust your gut, destiny, or however you view life, because that belief will guide you to follow your heart, even when the path seems uncertain. The second story revolves around love for what you do and how losing something can redirect your life towards something greater. I was fortunate to find my passion early. I started Apple in my parents' garage at age 20. We worked relentlessly, and in 10 years, Apple grew from a small garage operation to a multi-billion-dollar company with thousands of employees. A year before my 30th birthday, we had launched the first Macintosh, a product I was incredibly proud of, and then I was fired. Yes, fired from the very company I had co-founded. We had hired someone I thought was extremely talented to manage the company alongside me. Initially, things went well, but our visions eventually diverged, and our disagreements intensified. The board of directors sided with him, and I was forced out publicly at 30 years old. For a while, it felt like my life's purpose had vanished. I was overwhelmed with feelings of failure and guilt, thinking I had let down everyone who came before me. I even met with industry veterans, attempting to apologize for my perceived mistakes. It was humiliating, but slowly I realized that my love for what I did remained unchanged. Being fired was devastating but also liberating. I felt lighter, less certain about everything, and free to explore creativity like never before. I went on to start Next and Pixar, and along the way, I met an extraordinary woman who became my wife. Pixar eventually created the world's first computer-animated feature film, Toy Story, and is now one of the most successful animation studios globally. In a remarkable twist, Apple purchased Next, bringing me back into the company, where the technology developed at Next helped spark Apple's renaissance. I am confident that none of this would have happened if I had not experienced that setback. Life sometimes delivers bitter medicine, but if you persist in loving what you do, setbacks can become your greatest advantages. The lesson is clear. Find what you love, whether in work or in life, and never settle. Your work will fill a significant portion of your life, and satisfaction comes only when you pursue something you genuinely care about. Keep looking, keep exploring, and trust your instincts. Great relationships and great work only improve with time. My third story is about mortality and purpose. At 17, I read a quote that resonated deeply. Live each day as if it were your last, and someday it will be. For more than 30 years, I have asked myself every morning whether I would be happy with my choices if today were my final day. When the answer was no too many days in a row, it was time to make a change. Death, though difficult to confront, is the ultimate teacher. It strips away fear, pride, and expectation, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering our limited time forces us to live authentically. There is no reason to follow someone else's path or to be guided solely by others' opinions. Have courage. Listen to your heart and intuition. They often know what you truly want to become. Life is short, and time wasted on the wrong pursuits cannot be reclaimed. Embrace your own path, follow your instincts, and prioritize what matters most. So, my advice: stay curious, remain bold, and above all, follow your heart with courage. Everything else will fall into place. Thank you for watching, friends. These 3 stories about connecting the dots, loving what you do, and embracing life fully hold lessons we can all apply. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and share Rising Legends with others who need inspiration. Remember, your journey starts with a single step, and your story is yours to write. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next video.